primarily refers to his status as a politician and not his politics. In fact, as the art attests, it is because of his status as a politician who dabbles in art that we're all gathered here today. Politics, and especially his politics, are entirely absent, invisible, or art-washed. And since Rama has of late gained a reputation of dismissing his critics and dissenters, be they of the opposition or civil society, I will direct this question to all of you. How many of you do know his politics beyond the painting of the town, which really just, as he very well told us, was just an effect in behavior? So let me help you out with this. There is a systematic dismantling of public institutions, such as higher education, which has led to the jailing and prosecuting of student protesters, corruption at the highest level of government, and systematic collusion with the construction and narcotics mafia. His autocratic control over media, which has been followed by censorship of alternative and social media. And lastly, and this should please us all, the use of art as propaganda tool to aestheticize all of these problems, which has put art in the worst position that it has been, including the previous 8 years of his government. I'm an art historian. My name? Eriola Pirra. Eriola Pirra. You're welcome.
So where is the question, or is it just a speech?
Audience. Oh,
Okay.
I have a question for you too in that case.
No, thank you.
How do you suggest artists counter all of these
just-
politics? How would they protest these politics without, being jailed?
Okay, I have a simple information for all the people that listened to this speech. Albania got a few days ago the recommendation of the European Commission to start accession talks with the European Union, which is not in nowadays something very simple, and which is not something that the country was at all imagining to happen in only 3 years of our government. So, if the European Commission, which is not known as a very nice kind of beast, is swallowing all that you said and is still opening the negotiations with this country, then really the problem should be very global. But I think the problem is very, very simple. You don't get it. This is very simple. And I think they get it, you don't get it. This is my answer, because otherwise, how the European Commission would open the negotiations with this country, with the country you described? We are making reforms that were not made in 20 and more years. We started with 0 point something in terms of growth. We are to 3.5 today. We started with 52% of people not paying the energy or stealing it. And today is a completely different place. Instead of paying $150 million every year to balance the budget and keep the lights going on, we don't pay anymore this sum because because people are paying the energy. 340,000 contracts were signed to start paying. So we're building a state that is functioning. Of course, there are many things that need to be improved. It's not at all a full achievement, but we are in a place that no one could imagine would be 3 years ago. This is for sure the reality. Okay, so, and also, it's a very well-functioning and vibrant society in terms of freedom of speech, as the European Commission stated, and you are the most outstanding representation of it today here. So nothing will happen to you. You'll be a happy citizen after having, so don't worry. Don't worry.
Do we have more questions?
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, very good. Do we have more questions? If not, maybe a very last question, Edi, because actually one thing I forgot in a conversation which I thought would be interesting to hear about is because we spoke about the way how you involved artists in the coloring building project with Rickrett's building, with Liam Gillick's building, who's here, and Dominique Gonzalez Förster did the building. Many artists did buildings. But then, now that you're Prime Minister, art entered in an even different way. The G7 happened in Tirana. You brought in artists, Thomas Deman, Philippe Pareno, who is here with a piece which is still there, related to the government building. Can you tell us a little bit about this new form of commissioning art and bringing art into your government building?
It's not only art, and by the way, following the last exchange, it's a center for openness and dialogue which is situated in the first floor of the Prime Minister building, which was for many years a building surrounded like a military compound in the middle of the city, in the main boulevard. It's a national heritage building, but was surrounded as a military compound, and we had a tragedy on January 2011 when 4 people were killed. Protesters were killed from the windows of the building with real bullets. And so I just opened it up completely, restored it completely, so it's not anymore surrounded. It's just, and the first floor is open to the public. So the first floor is the center where we make exhibitions, we have a library, people can come, book presentations, small concerts, and in this building was someone that threw me eggs was given a prize, by the way. So I didn't know it, and I was not supposed to know it, and nobody cared to tell me that this was going to happen. So it happened, and and I said that people that protesters that normally are not very much heard because, or which purposes are totally deformed by media, can take the space for free, to make their points. So the government building in the first floor, protesters can come with, of course, a representation and say, we have this problem, so you can come, you can use the building. No problem. And you'll have the microphone and you have the airtime of the government. But you'll be prepared to be also answered. And in Albanian, you'll be answered much better. Because your English is better than mine, by the way. Compliments.
Great. Well,